Our next speaker served as the CEO of the United Way of Monterey County for 14 years, where she helped raise $50 million to provide crucial services for thousands of people in this community. She helped homeless children, providing meals for seniors, and increased economic opportunities for working families. Now she's decided to take the next step and enter into public office, and I'm happy to report that, or I'm happy to introduce my new supervisor, Mary Adams.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I must tell you that I'm a little bit intimidated after hearing the previous two speakers, because I came here for a very selfish reason. I came here because I wanted to be surrounded by people who feel just like I do. There is no more comfort than to be with like-minded spirits, and that's what we're all here for today. And as I look at today forward, it's trying to keep a stiff upper lip and all of that sort of thing as we do move forward, I'm struck by a few things that are really bothering me, and some of them are these things. I worry so much that bit by bit by bit, we'll see more of our freedoms taken away. And because it will be in such a slow, leaky way, we won't even notice. And then we will find ourselves in a situation that will be very difficult to recover from. I worry about that every day. I worry about it when I see kids who have just the playful time of freedom and not worrying about anything in the world, and thinking about what their life could be. I grew up in a way that I think most people would view as a life of privilege. We didn't have a lot of money, but I had a mom and a dad and a couple of sisters and a little brother, and we lived life in a normal way. And I, as a person, as a woman, was able to live my life the way I wanted and needed to because of the sacrifices that many people who went before me had made. And one of the reasons that I chose a life of public service, whether through United Way or before that the American Cancer Society and the American Heart Association, and most specifically now as the supervisor for District 5 here in Monterey County, and chair of the board, I might add. Not because I'm so fabulous, but because I'm gutsy enough to think, oh sure, I'm new, but I can do this. At any rate, what I think about is that it's my responsibility, just as I believe each one of you feels the responsibility to ensure that we don't forget those little things that have happened in our own lives, that we don't allow the freedoms to be taken away. I love the previous speaker's comment about ownership. We have to take ownership of everything that's happening in the world. We may not have done enough to warrant responsibility, but I still think that we have to take ownership. One of the things that I've said a couple of times, and that I believe very strongly about looking at government today and how, with what we are faced, is it's like a very tall, very narrow pyramid, sort of like the Transamerica building. And at the top, it's a little bit more fragile. And if it topples, which at this point I don't think a lot of us would complain about, but should it topple, it's our job, our responsibility to ensure that the base remains strong. And that is what we can do here. And that's what we have to do as we gather in big groups like this, or when you gather in a neighborhood, or when you go down and volunteer at the schools. Whatever it is that you can do on a local level, we need to do that, because only by staying strong at the base will we be able to continue to hold on to the values that we hold dear and ensure that those values are not taken away from us. I think that's absolutely incumbent upon us. I asked a colleague today as I was walking out the door, you know, what do you want most for your kids? She's a beautiful woman, 2 darling children. And she said, well, I want them to have the best public education they can possibly get right here so that they will be able to grow up and get good jobs that will allow them to stay here. I said, is that the most important thing to you? She said, it really is. That's the most important thing to me in my life. And then I said, so what are you going to do about it? And she looked at me, you know, here she is, she's working in public service as well, but she looked at me and she said, I'm going to volunteer at the school. I'm going to be a little more involved with the education system here. And I'm going to make sure that my kids are getting what it is that they need, and I'm going to stand up if they aren't getting what they need to ensure that they do. So my feeling and my words to all of us here today is that's what we have to find, that's what we have to do. We have to identify what really matters to us, and then we have to take action to ensure that we can achieve those things. So thank you. I'm wearing black and white today. Black for the sorrow that I feel, but white for the hope that I keep in my heart that people just like we are going to make sure that we remain okay. Thank you.